Welcome back to Headstone Chronicles, where Headstone tells a story. In the last video, I spoke of the guitarist of the band Shocking Blue and said he was dead. That's what the information I had. I checked DeepSeek, said he was dead. OpenAI said he was dead. ChatGPT said he's alive. Gemini says he's alive. So when I got response from some of the viewers like you, Paul and Robert, you said that he was alive and you said he was his next door neighbor, I'm going to believe you. Because, I mean, if you're seeing him mow his lawn, I'm sure he's alive. So, he's alive. I wanted to make that crystal clear in the last video. Shocking Blue. And now let's start today's video. I want to thank you first and foremost for joining me here at Headstone Chronicles. I do appreciate you. Would you do me a kind thing? Just below this video, right about here, there's a word. It says share. Would you do that? Would you share it with a friend? They're your friends. Share it with a friend. And also below in the description area, we do have a tip jar if you feel that you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee and help the site go forward. And now let's take a look at today's video. Mindy McCready, here at Headstone Chronicles. The final chapter of Mindy McCready's life began with an eerie echo of tragedy. On February 17, 2013, the country music star was found dead on the porch of her home in Heber Springs, Arkansas. Her body, lifeless from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, lay on the exact spot where her boyfriend, David Wilson, had died in the same manner just over 1 month earlier. At only 37 years old, her life, a painful paradox of immense public success and profound private anguish, had reached its conclusion. Before she took her final breath, McCready's last conscious act was a disturbing one. She walked into her home and shot and killed Wilson's dog, a Labrador mix, before laying down a green tarp so as not to cause any mess, covering her up with the green tarp and turning the gun on herself.
The outdoor furniture looks eerily familiar. 6 years ago, it served as the backdrop to a tragic finale.
I need 10,000 angels.
Mindy McCready, known for her southern melodies, ended her own life here on Fox Chase Drive in Eden Isle near Heber Springs. It's a story many Arkansans remember.
Me and another detective were working that day.
But no one remembers better than Cleburne County Sheriff Chris Brown. He was a detective at the time and one of the first at the scene.
Around here, it doesn't get brought up very much.
McCready and a family dog were both found dead on the home's front porch. Exactly 1 month prior, McCready's boyfriend, David Wilson, had been found shot dead in the same spot. It was during that investigation Chris Brown got to know Mindy a little better.
Mindy was a very sweet person, and she had demons like everybody else does, but she was a sweet lady.
In her later years, reports of drug abuse and child custody battles hit a crescendo for Mindy. A spiraling downfall soon followed.
You never know what somebody else is going through, and sometimes it takes a turn for the worse.
A front porch tucked away in Arkansas.
Time to face my weakness.
Almost as hidden as the troubles Mindy McCready's fans never knew about.
Her death, a stark and public suicide, was a grim, lifelong battle of personal demons. She was discovered by her brother, who had become worried after not hearing from her for a while. The discovery was not just a shocking end to a celebrity's life, but a profound and devastating tragedy for her family and 2 young children.
It was too late to call home. time.
The death of Mindy was not an isolated incident, but the fifth known suicide attempt of her adult life. Friends and family, though heartbroken, were not surprised. Her former fiancé and the father of their eldest son, Billy McKnight, recounted having witnessed 2 of her prior attempts, a testament to the long, painful road of struggle she was walking. Her history was one of self-destruction and cries for help, marked by drug and alcohol overdose, a public hospitalization after she slit her wrists, and violent court battles over custody of her children. She appeared on the Celebrity Rehab show with Dr. Drew. In the wake of her death, a second confidential autopsy was reportedly performed on her body, a highly unusual step that hinted at the complexity of the final moments of her life. Following her boyfriend's suicide, McCready had been discharged from a court-ordered treatment program for substance abuse and mental health. This secondary examination, which was never publicly detailed, fueled speculation that investigators were looking for a possible link between medicines she might have been taking and her final actions. It was an attempt to find a medical or chemical explanation for a tragedy that, for those who knew her, was the heartbreaking and predictable result of a deep-seated pain.
I know this is not easy for you, and again, I do appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And the song was released the day that Mindy died, and Dano told Showbiz that it was originally meant to raise awareness for suicide prevention, but he claims that it ended up in a way being her suicide note. Having had that conversation with her, is that your take on it as well?
Looking back at it, yeah, I see that as a possibility. But at the time, her reasoning was that she was trying to jump ahead of a Dateline story that was supposed to come out.
We know a lot has been said about Mindy's drug use, about abusive relationships that she's been in. But you told one of our producers that you're tired of hearing people criminalizing her. And I have to say, I've been saying all along that her hard times should not be her legacy. It's part of her story for sure. But what do you want people to know about Mindy's life that is being overshadowed by her death?
Mindy's problems weren't about drug and alcohol masking her inabilities to deal with her friends and, all the success. Her problems go all the way back to her childhood and the dysfunctionality in her family that was never talked about. And I bit my lip, for 20 years to not say anything. And but there was some serious problems growing up that she saw things that no child should have to see and endured things that no child should have to endure.
A public funeral was held in her hometown of Fort Myers, Florida, where her mother delivered a tearful eulogy, surrounded by white roses and a large portrait of her daughter. She described a woman who was so tired and who felt hopeless. The ceremony was an attempt to reclaim the narrative of her life from the sensational headlines, a moment for her family to remember the little girl who sang into a hairbrush and the complex, struggling woman behind the public persona. In the end, Mindy McCready's story became a tragic, cautionary tale. Her immense talent, which had led to a double platinum album and a #1 hit, was linked to her profound anguish. The final acts on that cold Arkansas day, the killing of the dog, the walk to the porch, the final echo of a gunshot, marked the end of a life that, despite fleeting moments of brilliance and hope, was ultimately defined by a private suffering that proved too great to bear. Her legacy, painful and complex, is a stark reminder of the fragile line between public artistry and private pain. Her rap sheet was long, unfortunately. In 2004, arrested for fraudulently obtaining the prescription for painkiller Oxycontin.
Singer Billy McKnight says a lot's changed since he met a 23-year-old Mindy McCready. Constant drinking and pill popping, he says, got the best of her.
And my son is the one who's hurting and paying the price for all this.
6-year-old Xander stuck in family limbo almost since birth, once given to McCready's mother during a previous jail sentence, after which McCready abducted him to Arkansas, where police later found them hiding in a closet. Now McCready's facing at least 3 weeks in a mental health and alcohol abuse center. Both of her 2 sons are now in foster care, and the one she shares with McKnight won't be there much longer if he has any say.
For the life of me, I can't figure out why he's not home right here with me in a stable environment.
He says that Nana, that's what he calls my mom, is so mean, that her heart is black. And that she's so mean, she doesn't know how to be nice anymore.
But it's not only the word of a 5-year-old. Inge's own mother, Mindy's grandmother, swears in this affidavit obtained by 2020 that she witnessed Xander being subjected to harsh discipline, jerked by the arm, hit with a wooden spoon. She says she feared Xander would be physically harmed permanently.
There are scars on Xander's back. There are scars on his bottom and his legs from the spoon.
The affidavit also cites the Inge's bizarre cultish beliefs.
Do you know anything about her religion, Treasures of the Snow, and what it's about and how it might be affecting Xander?
My mother, believes that she is a prophet sent from God. They see dead people in their home all the time, or spirits, demons, ghosts.
Gail Inge denies she believes those things. McCready says there was very little happiness in her childhood home. It was so bad, she says she and her brothers left as soon as they could.
In 2005, arrested for a DUI in Nashville. In 2007, arrested for violating her probation from the 2004 charge. In 2008, her mother had her committed to a psychiatric facility under the Baker Act, but she left before the treatment was completed. In 2010, she was arrested after a physical altercation with her mother and for resisting arrest at her mother's home. The fight was reportedly over the custody of her son, Xander. Mindy's greatest success was her 1996 debut album, 10,000 Angels, which sold over 2 million copies. Her debut single of the same name became a top 5 hit on the country charts. She followed this with another major hit, Guys Do It All the Time, which also reached the top 5. Her first album ultimately produced 4 consecutive top 20 singles. These achievements made her the highest-selling debut female country artist of the 90s. Despite the early successes, her career was eventually overshadowed by her personal struggles.
Speaking of the devil, look who just walked in. He knows just where to find me. Here we go again. I can tell he's gonna ask me to dance, but that's not as far as he wants to go. I need 10,000 angels to help me tell him no.
Mindy McCready was laid to rest in Fort Myers. Her life and career cut short by the very demons she had fought so publicly for years. If any of you have seen her live in concert, we certainly would like to know. Comment below. I do appreciate you visiting me here at Headstone Chronicles, and please allow me to play you out.